I want to talk to you about my friend Charlie Crawford. He's a 10-time NFR qualifier.
Charlie Crawford, time to just shake it out and win. Got it on him fast, set
there
up.
We are.
Here's a day
nice
money
run.
lead. You betcha 3-8.
That's an absolute perfect run. Timing was perfect from the time the first swing is up. He's got the control. Charlie made it happen by being timed up with his horse with the steer, and being able to not just rope, but to pick that steer's head up without changing the momentum for the heeler at all.
We know his beautiful wife, Jackie, all three of their beautiful children, the founder of the Liberty and Loyalty Foundation, which this year will exceed $1 million raised for military and first responders. I've said it 1,000 times. Charlie, it's time to rope, nod and ride, whip and spur. I want to welcome you to the Charlie Crawford Podcast. Let's ride.
Hello, everybody. I've got an open clinic up in Sturgis, South Dakota that has a few slots open. So if you're up in the Sturgis area and you're wanting to come to one of my clinics, August 16th and 17th, up there in Sturgis, South Dakota, and D. Hagen will be hosting that, so get a hold of him. I've got that flyer posted on my Facebook, my Instagram, so check that out on Charlie Crawford's fan page on Facebook and my Instagram. I've got an open host date open available. So if you're wanting me to come to your town and do a headers only clinic, I've got an open date of November 2nd and 3rd. So the headers only clinics is specifically based on heading, but you can bring your heeler for free. So I've had a lot of good luck with the headers only clinics because of teams coming together to rope to get a rundown. And so it's really good to be able to kind of get on the same page as a team and to be specifically for the heading. Corey Kuntz and I have our Champions Level Clinic November 12th through the 14th that we're really excited about in NRS. It's going to be a wonderful clinic. It's going to be a tremendous clinic. It's going to be a clinic like no one's ever seen before. We're going to be celebrating that week of making America great again. We're going to be videoing it. We're going to break it down. We're going to try to match the steers up the same as what you're going to be seeing out there in Vegas. Those jackpots out there in Arizona. We're going to be timing it. We're going to be filming it. We're going to try to get you guys in the category from the 12 down to the 7 of the runs that you're needing to make to get you guys to the pay window. My website will be coming out soon. You'll be able to sign up on my website for that clinic. Details a little bit further down the road. So iron sharpens iron. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. So we've talked about goals on this podcast in the last few solo podcasts that I've done. So my goal was at the Rope Horse Fraternity in Fort Worth was to try and bump my score up from the last time that I competed at Ardmore, where I basically tanked. And my goal was to get to the high 220s. I think I was like a 218, 219. I don't even know if I scratched the 220s at Ardmore. My goal was to get to the higher 220s, maybe even a 230, and to make the short round. So as I'm out here on my little desert island roping by myself, if my goals are to get better, then I'm going to need some eyes. I'm going to need some other iron. So in order for me to get better, I'm going to have to get around people who are better than me. So luckily I have the opportunities to go to Trevor's house up there in Decatur with him and Miles and go rope with him and go rope with both of those guys. What do you see? Where am I lacking? Well, one little detail of talking about where my left hand sits and how I'm holding my horse, to one little thing of talking about, well, your horse ain't really hooking up to the steer. He's kind of naive. He's moving his hips around. He's not really just locking on. And then Trevor talking about, I was telling him one of the things that I'm struggling with a little bit is like my horse is punching just a little bit. So I'm missing something. And what I mean by punching, like his front feet are stopping and then he's kind of getting hung right there. There's a technique error that I'm not setting him up for. And so where he talks about just opening my shoulders up toward the steer as the heeler's roping, just a couple little details, and I could just feel my horse starting to kind of move. And I was like, it was kind of cool to where those things were pointed out. Well, then the next day I get to go rope with Joseph Harrison. I traveled up there to Oklahoma and go rope with him. And he's a lot more relaxed. We sit out there and we might BS for a couple times. We might watch a couple videos. He actually got me on Air Force One, which is one of the baddest head horses going right now. And just to get that feel and develop it. And then when he would talk about a little bit of how I would hold my hand, what the feel is you're trying to develop, what we're talking about that horse maybe moving his hips around a little bit there in the corner, where to kind of put your foot to kind of get that feel. And then when I was getting on Air Force One, I could feel that. And then when I was talking about the finish, he would explain it to where Trevor and Miles and Joe, all of a sudden the puzzles were just kind of starting to fit together. It was amazing because Trevor and Miles would point it out and talk about it. And then when I got to Joe's, we were able to explain it and break it down and video it and get on another horse and get the feel of it. And I could just feel the puzzle come together. It was so cool. And you talk about iron sharpening iron. You know, those friends that I have that were able to go and spar with and create ideas and just those little tiny windows. I mean, we're not talking about tearing my whole roping down. We're talking about just a couple little things. And went to the futurity, and my first run, I was a 230. I threw my hand in the air. I was like, see you guys later. I'm out. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. My other goal was to make the short round, so I'm going to have to rope 2 more. And so the next round, I think I would have been 230. Naturally, Joe roped the leg again. But I'll give him some credit. That steer was dang near impossible to heel. He fought his head. But my horse did good again. Stayed in the box, looked real good, got up there, got on his butt, kept his hips under him, framed across the pen, faced on a tight rope, moved all the way around. I was like, yes, I'm getting it. Well, my third one is my little flaw, where sometimes when I rope and the steer stepped a little bit to the right and I crossed just enough to where I threw my horse off and didn't set him up very good. And so he kind of got hung up in the corner. That was my error. The good thing is he did everything I asked. You know, when I cross, that means he doesn't turn off. So I've got to make sure that even when they step to the right, when I put it on the horn, that I still go ahead and turn that steer and make that steer hit the end of it. I had a little freeze moment. That's kind of one of my flaws. But like I said, my horse did great. Now made the short round. I was so pumped. I'm like, now that's how you get better. Horse did pretty good. Got a little bit nervous in the box, but I'm telling you, run up there, got his butt up under him, finished good, started sharpening his feet up a little bit better. So excited. But if it wasn't for the goals that I set, that I wanted to make the fraternity finals in October, that I had to go to 2 of them, even though he wasn't ready at the first one, I knew, what do I got to do to get better? I've got to get around the right guys. I can't figure this out on my own. There's people who have the information you seek. So how do you get in front of those people? Because if it wasn't for getting in front of those 3 guys, I'd have probably been scoring the same thing I did at Ardmore. So now I've got some confidence. Now I feel like I got some momentum. Now I've got a little bit of an idea of what I want to do for the rest of the next couple months before October, to where now I kind of feel like I got a shot. So, man, so who you surround yourself with is huge. And what I always try to do is whatever I'm lacking, I try to go find out who has those strengths. So good luck, everybody.